Good afternoon, students. In today's session, we will discuss selection of the problem in research. A new topic, selection of the problem in research, or formulating the research problem. So let's start with formulating the research problem. A research problem is a definite or clear expression about an area of concern. So a condition to be improved upon, or a difficulty to be eliminated, or a troubling question that exists in scholarly literature. In theory or within existing practice, that points to a need for meaningful understanding and deliberate and thorough investigation towards this. So, a research problem doesn't state how to do something. It doesn't offer, it only offers a vague or broad proposition or present a value question. It is not always easy to formulate the research problem, as it seems. It is not easy to formulate the research problem simply and clearly. It takes time, it takes efforts, and it is a difficult task sometimes. So it may take years to decide. Yes, years, you heard it right. It may take years to decide for some, and just a few minutes for others to decide the research problem to be studied. The social issues may provide a broader prospect, but it may not suggest a specific one. The understanding economic background of society may not, sorry, the social issues may provide a broader prospect, but it may not suggest a specific one which you want to study. It may suggest a broader aspect or broader prospect, but if a researcher wants to study something specific, it may not suggest that. It may not offer that. For example, understanding economic background of society may not address the issue of unemployment in the same society. Therefore, unemployment needs to be studied differently and individually to assess the underlying problems. The availability of resources like money, time, manpower, etc. also affects the selection of research problem. Some sources of research problems are as follows. First is a person's personal experience. Your personal experiences sometimes may prove to be a source or to find a source of research problem through your personal experience. Or media, documentation done on various issues, live coverage, panel discussion can help you to find or to decide your research problem. resources, literature such as books, journals, new articles, periodicals may facilitate the researcher to identify a relevant problem based on the area of interest. Government and official records. The orders passed by the government. The decisions given in various cases of courts. The petitions. Surveys conducted become important source to shortlist finer prints in a broad problem. People, a group of individuals may be studied or may be heard to understand how they behave, how they respond to a particular situation, what they do, or what responses are generated when they are influenced from within or outside the groups. When they are influenced from within or outside the group. Discussions. A researcher may be able to come to a conclusion to identify a research problem by discussing the perspectives with peers, colleagues, seniors in the field, guides, etc. Problems. It may be decided to examine the existence of certain issues or problems relating to society, sciences, or any subject in reference. Programs. These may be used to evaluate the effectiveness of an interference, involvement, or instructions. Phenomena. To establish the existence of regularity and to understand if a procedure would yield similar results over time when used repeatedly. This includes causes and effects relationships between variables. Or ideas from external sources, interdisciplinary perspectives, etc. So, important considerations in selecting a research problem. A good problem statement begins by introducing the broad area in which your area is centered, gradually leading the reader to the more specific issues you are investigating. A good problem statement begins by introducing the broad area in which your research problem is centered, gradually leading the reader to the more specific issues a researcher is investigating. The statement need not to be lengthy, but a good research problem should incorporate some important features like persuasive topic. The problem that is taken up for research should not only be of ample interest to the researcher, but also the one that is continuously motivating to ensure consistent efforts to find a solution to some problem. The significance is greatly reduced if the ideas is to just some is to just get some superficial knowledge about the problem and not to lead the researcher to resolve. Viability. A problem that has been identified to be studied should be decided on the basis of whether it is actually possible to be resolved or has some previous knowledge previous knowledge how to guide the researcher to move ahead in this direction. So a problem which has not been foreseen earlier may be selected, but the resources availability should be considered very carefully by the researcher. The so what test. A research problem should be able to pass the so what test as in social researches to ascertain the meaningfulness and relevance of studying a particular problem. To ascertain meaningfulness and relevance of studying a particular problem. So uh, if the problem doesn't a result which may lead to further study or analysis, it has to be avoided by the researcher. According to Ranjit Kumar, a few more considerations that assist a researcher to ensure that the study will remain manageable and stay motivated. Interest. A researcher endeavor is usually time consuming. A research endeavor is usually time consuming for any researcher and involves hard work, possibly unforeseen problems. Definitely, once you start working on some topic, you will see or you will face some circumstances that are generally that were generally not imagined by the researcher or they were not foreseen. So there may be some unforeseen problems which are faced by the researcher. So one should select topic of great interest to sustain the required motivation, and especially during that time, during the moments when you are feeling low and you have to keep yourself motivated. So it should be, yeah, it should be an area of your interest. Magnitude. It is extremely important to select a topic that you can manage within time. Definitely, it matters a lot. It is really important to select a topic that you can manage within the time and resource at your disposal. Narrow down the topic to something manageable, specific, and clear. It should not be broad and vague. Measurement of concepts. Make sure that you are clear about the indicators and measurement of concepts in your study. Level of expertise. Make sure that a researcher has adequate level of expertise for the task you are proposing, since you need to do the work yourself or on your own. You have to conduct it on your own. You have to help others. You have to guide people sometimes. Relevance. Its relevance. Ensure that your study adds to the existing body of knowledge, bridges current gaps, and is useful in policy formulation. This will help you to sustain interest in your research work. Before finalizing the topic, availability of data. Before finalizing the topic, make sure that data are available. So it should be a concern for researcher that availability of data. If you decide your topic, you finalize your topic, and data, if you see that data will not be available, or you will face difficulties in obtaining information, so you should avoid such topics and take care of these points before finalizing your topic. Ethical issues. How ethical issues can affect the study population and how ethical problems can be overcome should be thoroughly examined at the problem formulating stage. A research problem needs a closure look in some aspects. Aspects such as study population, the people, individuals, organizations, groups, communities, as they either provide the information required or help in collecting the information about them. Subject areas, problems, issues, can be any situation, association, needs, profiles, etc. Program, content, structure, etc. Statement of problem. A research problem statement has to be adequate, as different people may interest it in many ways and draw inferences that the researcher has not even imagined or thought of. It has to be established that this statement leads only in a single direction and leads only to where wants to reach. This would also avoid new generalized issues arising out of the work. For a problem statement to be effective, it should have certain characteristics like the problem reflects felt needs. The problem is hypothetical. It must not be based, it must, sorry, that is, it must be based on factual evidence. The problem is non-hypothetical. It should suggest some meaningful and testable hypothesis. To avoid answers that are of little or of no use to the alleviation of the problem. The problem should be relevant and manageable. The problem statement is therefore a very important device for keeping you on the track with your research work. It is also one means by which your research will be evaluated. Does the research address the problem stated? So it is about formulation of research problem. In our next session, we will cover topics process of formulation of a research problem.